Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to today's video. Now, the quarantine got to me, I'm setting up another tank. So this is my 5-gallon Fluval Evo aquarium. You've probably seen it in the past in very old videos. This is my first saltwater aquarium. It's a whole reef setup by Fluval. It has built-in filtration and a reef LED light. And I thought, what better to do during this quarantine season than to set up another tank. So I'm going to be setting this up as a NANO REEF aquarium. Now, I've kept my 120-gallon reef for a couple months now, and then I had a 55-gallon tank before that for about a year. So I think it's time to go ahead and set up reef tank number 2. So the first thing we have to do is get some water going. So first things first, we need to get some RODI water going. Now, you can purchase RODI water or salt water at your local fish store, but I have my own RODI unit, so I just make it here. And that is my SpectraPure RODI system. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by making 5 gallons of RODI water, and then we can mix it into salt water. Now that we have water, we can start talking about the equipment. So for filtration, this already has filtration built in. There is a sponge that goes in here with some biological media. The biological media is currently in my 120 gallon, so it is pre-cycled. Over here we have our pump, which is gonna be our return pump, and then this is a 50-watt heater, which maybe will go right in there. Now, I plan to use the same black reef sand that is in my 120-gallon reef, and then this is just a piece of dry rock right here, and then I have a couple pieces of live rock in my sump that I'm also going to be putting in here to ensure this tank gets a very quick cycle. So we're going to start off by putting our substrate in, which is just that black sand. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few more cupfuls of this and get a nice perfect sand bed.
A few inches later.
Okay, so now that we have the sand all in there and looking good, it's time to get some rocks in there. So I'm gonna start with all dry rock. I'm just gonna take this piece. I kind of like this, maybe right there. Yeah, that looks good for now. And then these small pieces I was thinking putting over here. Just thinking something maybe like that. Maybe we'll move this maybe an arch. Just something like that for now. The glare shouldn't be as bad once we get water in here. But I want to keep the front and the middle kind of open because this is also going to be a frag tank. Meaning I ordered some frag plugs and I'm going to start fragging some corals out of my main tank and getting them to grow and heal in this aquarium. So I have a little nice spot open there for me to put a frag rack or something of that nature in order to keep corals in this system. So that's it for rocks. I think it turned out really good. I mean, I just threw some rocks in there. It's not that big of a deal quite yet. But now let's go ahead and work on filtration. So I got some materials together for filtration. And basically what we're gonna be doing is filling this overflow chamber right here with filter media. So what I have here are some bio balls. Now I already run these in the sump of my 120-gallon tank. So for the time being, I'm gonna start throwing some of these right back there. Now the reason I just filled this up with bio balls, not all the way, but most of the way, is because I'm gonna let them kind of start cycling through in here, and then what we can do is we can take some bio balls out of my 120-gallon reef that already have all that good bacteria in them. So these are just kind of placeholders at the moment, and then I'll swap them. Maybe when we get fish or something, I'll just swap the bio balls out from new ones to old ones, so we have all the old ones in here, which make the tank instantly cycled. Next, I just have some carbon, we'll just throw that down there. And then last but not least, a whole bunch of filter floss. Now what this filter floss is gonna do is right when the water goes through the overflow, it's gonna get caught right by this filter floss, straining all the debris and everything out of it. Super fine, and it's gonna make sure the water is crystal clear. So now for filtration, that's pretty much all we have. If I actually turn the tank, you can see it better. So you can see we have filter floss, carbon, bio balls, then the water goes through here, and we have the heater and the return pump. So that's it for the filtration, super easy and basic. So now all we have to do is wait for the water to be done, mix up some fresh salt water, and get it in here and running. This is a super easy tank, and anybody can buy this aquarium. I believe it's very cheap. It's like $80 for the whole kit, minus rocks and sand, obviously, and the heater. But it's a really great deal, and I hope that by watching this video, you'll gain some inspiration to go ahead and do this with really any aquarium you have at home. It doesn't have to be a Fluval spec. It can be any aquarium, as long as you have, obviously, the necessary items. But I'll be back when the water's done. Actually, side note, while we were waiting for the water, I went ahead and got the light on the aquarium. This is just the light that comes with the tank. It's very basic, but it has this cool touch control right here. You can turn it into night mode, I think. Yeah, there's night mode. And you can turn it off. So it's a really cool light, but it totally can grow things like zoas, mushrooms, you know, soft corals. So we're good to go with the light.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I've got a little over 4 gallons of water in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing it up. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump the salt in and give it a stir, wait a little bit, and then we'll check the salinity. Okay, so it's all mixed up for the most part, and now we're just gonna go ahead and check the salinity with this little meter right here, and we want to aim for 1.025. Well, that's not 1.025, that's 1.021. So we're gonna need more salt. Okay, let's try this again. Get this all nice and ready to go, and there we go, 1.025. That's perfect salinity. Water is a little bit cold, but once we get it in the tank and plug the heater in, it should warm right up. Okay, so I got the tank all filled up, and of course I didn't make enough water, but we can still start by getting the heater plugged in, which will get the water warmed up, and then I believe this is the pump. So as you can see, it does have a nice little nozzle right here, so it does have enough flow. As you can see, it's perfect for a reef. I mean, I've used it before, but it's a really nice all-in-one aquarium. I really like this tank. I'm not sure why the gravel is floating. That's weird, but I think this is the rockscape I'm gonna go with just for the meantime. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this clear out for a little bit, because it's gonna take some time to get clear, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make a little bit more water to fill it up that last inch. So I'll be back probably tomorrow when this tank is crystal clear, and we can check it out.
One eternity later.
And here is the tank about 2 days later. I don't love the reflection the white wall gives, but it is what it is. This is the only spot I had that could fit the tank. I threw a light timer on here so the lights are on for the correct time, and this is going to be a frag tank. So I'm going to have a few corals in here on frag plugs to kind of grow, and then I'm going to have one very, very special fish in here, I hope. I'm gonna have to go check it out sometime this week. Hopefully I need to get the right person at the right time in the right place at the right store to get the right deal on a very special fish. It's a small fish, it's honestly not even that special, but I do plan on getting a fish for this tank, and then just coral, maybe small invertebrate. So already I have noticed we do have a ton of evaporation, so I have this little auto top off. Okay, it's not automatic at all, I am the auto top off. And basically what I have to do every day is just put some RODI water in like that, up to the little line, which you can't see it, but I know how much it is. And that just allows us to keep our salinity constant in such a small aquarium. Now in a larger aquarium, you'll have a system that will automatically add RODI water to your tank for you to maintain the salinity. In a small tank like this, I don't have one, so it's all gonna be done by hand. So before we end off this video, I thought I should go ahead and show you my Big Reef Tank. So this is the 120 gallon. And there really isn't too much to update here. Everything's doing really good. My corals are getting super big. If you see this elegance coral, he is huge and almost stinging some of the other corals, so I might have to move him soon. I've started to do a little bit of fragging down there, and then you notice that we kind of have some cyano going down in the tank down at the bottom, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and fix that with some chemi-clean or something, which I don't want to do because it always makes the skimmer go crazy. But it is what it is. I have cyano, so I definitely need to get rid of that. But other than the cyano, the tank is doing really, really, really well, and some of these corals are kind of falling over. I need to fix them because this one is getting blown around by the current. As for the sump, it's still kind of a mess. We have the skimmer, remember, like all that stuff's the same. But I have these 2 breeder baskets. But as you can see, there is some macroalgae in there. We have sea lettuce in the back and then red ogo, I believe, in the front. So that's mainly what is our nutrient export for this aquarium. I'm just trying to get a refugium started down here. And then if you do remember, we still have 1 damsel living in the sump. But that's pretty much it for this tank. So that's gonna be just about it for this video. I was gonna put a small hermit crab in this aquarium to finish the video off, but because technically I don't have a nitrogen cycle in the aquarium, I'm not gonna be doing that. I do plan on getting the fish soon, and then when I get the fish is when I'll be bringing over all the media from the established aquarium, and that will instantly bring the bacteria over. If I brought the bacteria over now, there wouldn't be food for it to eat, so it would all die off before I had time to get the fish in there and get the nitrogen cycle moving. So for now, it's just gonna sit like this and start its own mini cycle before we actually put the real bacteria in. And that is gonna be just about it for this DIY mini saltwater aquarium. This is really very simple and anybody could do this. The kit probably runs around $75. Substrate is about $5 to $10 at your local pet store. That's live sand. Dry rock is usually sold by the pound. You can get live rock, but dry rock is cheaper. So if you're on a budget, go with some dry rock. So now you're looking at about, say, 90 bucks. The filters included, all that. You need about 10 bucks for another good heater. You're at 100 bucks and you're basically ready. All you need is water, fish, coral, invertebrate, and then bacteria starter. You can use that either to kickstart the system, or if you already have an existing system, you could just bring over some filter media. Because this tank is so small, you really don't even need a wave maker in the aquarium. The return pump honestly has enough flow, unless you're keeping corals that really need to be whipped around and have a high flow aquarium. But that is gonna be pretty much it for this video. Stay tuned for the next video when we add fish, coral, and some stuff like that into this aquarium. But that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.